Coach, what can you tell us about your lineup? No Alex DeBrincat out there this morning.
Yeah, game time decision for him and Talbot both. Whether he'll start or not, just not feeling great. So we'll see tonight.
What have you heard on Rourke Chartier up from Belleville?
Well, I had him years ago at Ivan Holinka, and then again in training camp here. Checked really well, and then he's found a scoring touchdown there that he had from junior that he hasn't gone in the NHL quite yet. But we're looking for a little more in that bottom six group, and I think he's earned himself a chance.
On Talbot and DeBrincat, is that when you say not feeling good? Is that like kind of that flu that seems to be going around? Is it kind of?
Well, one guy's nicked up and the other one's not feeling great, so we're not going to put him out there this morning. We'll see tonight. If not, everyone outside of Hetherington will be playing tonight.
Chartier play any forward position, or depending on your circumstances?
He can play any position, but I think we're looking for him right now in the middle position. With left-handed draw, I think Broussard's done a nice job on with that line on left wing, helping Casti in his own zone, talking him through games, and I think that's important, as well as they were one of our better lines on the road. So we're looking for a little spark with that other group, certainly with Joseph out, and we'll see what happens.
Josh Norris was out there really taking a lot of reps at practice. What's his status right now?
Still remains, I think we'll reevaluate after Christmas and see how he is. They give him a timeline kind of as to when the shoulder should feel good or when he'll be able to push even harder. He'll push again today, and they'll let us know. But at the end of the day, he's going to play here for a long time. If it's a game or two extra he has to sit, we're not going to put him in danger.
When is that timeline of when he should feel good?
I think we were thinking into January. If anything happens sooner than that, that'd be great. But I would expect into January. When it happened, I was kind of told that might be the year. So he's rehabbed it. He's done well with it, and we're going to make sure that we don't put him in danger's way. But if they tell me he's able to go, we'll put him in.
You had a big chat, or maybe not a big chat, but you were chatting with him on the side of the ice there. Was that just to check in, see how he's doing?
Yeah, and we talk a lot more, just about life sometimes, with him is, how he's doing mentally, all that, and he's great. And I just want him to understand there's no pressure. Just go and do what you do. And when you're ready, the trainers will let me know.
It's obviously a big night with Wade Redden getting his name in the Ring of Honor. I know you guys were both drafted same year by the Islanders, and I'm just wondering what your early memories are of Wade from being drafted together, maybe a rookie camp, development camp, or anything.
First roommate, in the NHL, at training camp was me and him because it was a lockout year, and they only brought two of us to camp, two guys from the draft that year. We were both real young and not ready for what was coming. It was a real rough Mike Milbury camp. And we were young guys, just kind of bright-eyed, like, wow, here we are, But we kind of stuck together. And then over the years, when I would get called up or whatever, I'd run into him. We always, kind of said hi, and then it was great to have him back in the development role. Got to spend some time in training camp. Saw him down yesterday with his daughters, and he's a great player here for a long time. And sorry, his steadiness. You look at today, everyone's looking for that defenseman that can give you those minutes, do it right, play against anyone, good stick, the whole thing. And I think, clearly he gave that to the Ottawa Senators for a long time.
What would a rough Mike Milbury training camp look like?
I think they brought every fighter from every league into training camp. Honestly, I remember there being like 15 fighters in the training camp when we were 17 or 18 years old, and they had the penalty minute leader from the IHL and the AHL, and then they had 3 or 4 on their team. They had finished dead last the year before, so it was, we're going to shake this up kind of thing. And it was just, coming from junior, me and him were the only two, and, coming from junior, it was an eye-opener.
That's why Denny Vial's here today?
Yeah.
What do you think it means for the Ottawa Senators to have more and more players like Redden, like Phillips, and those guys that got their jersey retired and now the Ring of Honor? maybe give more history to new players coming in?
Absolutely, that's exactly what it does. And you look at guys in that room, they're going to be guys that jerseys, may hang in the rafters or may be on the Ring of Honor, and that's something to look forward to. When you look at Red's career and these guys that, Alfredson and Phillips and these guys, the guys that are here right now are guys that are going to be that, in 20 years from now, depending on how much they win. And, ultimately, your play speaks for itself, but if you win, you get more and more guys, up in that area. And I'm sure tonight's going to be great for our guys to see it, but also, if you're one of those guys and they would know who they are, you're going to ask yourself, am I going to be there one day? And if you're lucky enough to stay healthy and have success, there's going to be some guys in that room that are going to be up there.
Is there anything you could change preparation-wise? You're on the roll from the road, coming back again to avoid that speed bump coming back?
Well, we've talked about it. It's a common thing that happens. You're on the road. You got a tight group. Everyone's dialed right in. Then you get home and you got kids and you got other things that happen, and you tend to just let down a bit. And just a bit in the NHL, you lose. And we've got to be better at home. We know that. We've got a couple games here in a row, and we have got to be sharp and play as if you're on the road, except for you're getting last change. And that mentality has to continue on. You can have it at the practice day, but when you get here on game day, we got to be a little more dialed in, a little more focused on the job at hand.
And Forsberg in net tonight, just given Talbot might be.
Well, we'll see how Talbot responds, but it could be. We don't know until tonight.
And also, I can't help but notice your sweater today. Did you happen to take in any of the All-Star game yesterday, or?
Yeah, I coached one of the teams, so it was great. You know what? I'll tell you right now that the speed and the skill set of the girls was shocking up close to be on the bench, and to see how fast and just how dialed in they were to the details, and they're just trying to grow their sport so much, and you could just see the passion in them, even though it's an all-star game. And I was talking quite a bit with some of the players and just, where the league's at and where they want to grow it to. And the best part for me, there was two young girls that were sitting behind our bench, and they're knocking on the glass, and they wanted one of the girls to turn around and, sign something. And the other girl, they do that paper, rock, scissors, give me your stick. She's like, well, I only have 4, so I can't give one away. It's not like the NHL guys. And, but it was great to see these young girls that, that follow these players, that give them something to strive for. And if we can do any part to help them, we certainly will. And it was great for me. I got, my son was on the bench with me. Wife, family got to come watch. And if you have young girls that are playing hockey, that's what you're striving to be, and they're good. And I couldn't believe the goaltending, how good our goalie was. And then I find out she's one of the United States' best goalies. But I was really impressed.
From your perspective, what do you think it's going to take to get the women a bit more attention and maybe a viable league?
Well, I think the more people watch it, the more they're going to realize how good they are. And I was saying to my son, who's an 18-year-old who plays in the OHL, when I watch that speed, I'm like, I don't know if you could keep up. I don't think you couldn't keep up with these girls. No, and he's a decent player in the OHL. Like they were flying, and they're in shape. They're dialed into what they're doing, and I just think the more people watch it, more hopefully people come out to support them, because they're the best in the world at what they do. In anything that you're the best in the world at, people find it exciting.
Is there any chance of putting Zub in a full face shield and having him come back a little bit earlier? Is that?
I'll ask the trainers, and I'll see if we can get them back. But they'll tell me. Yeah, I mean, it ultimately comes down to the doctors, whether there's an opportunity that he could get hurt. If there's no opportunity to make it worse and the shield can protect him, clearly he'll play. He's a tough kid. He wants to play. We want him to play. But that's going to be the doctor's call, 100%.
At this point, how far away are you even that possibly he can come back and play?
Who, Zub?
Yeah.
You know what? There's no exact timeline. I just, we've had so many guys go down that, you wait the trainer to tell you. But the mentality has to be whoever's in there has to do the job. And we can't spend any time thinking about who's out or because no one cares. At the end of the day, no one remembers that a guy's out. We've got to get the job with the guys that are in there. So whoever is going in for someone has to do the job. And if we get the guy back, that's great. But even when you get him back, it takes, 2-3 games for them to get back up to their level. So we've got other guys that got to push from within.
And Bernard Docker, nothing. He's still
Yeah, he's weeks, and then he'll, obviously he'll, probably go back and have to rehab and get into game shape and do all those things because, at his age, he has the ability to go there and do that. But he's, from what I hear, I don't think he's, real close to being able to help us anyways.
How do you guys try and bring this 4-0-1 your last 5 on the road? How do you try and bring that back here?
At home, you mean?
Yeah.
You know what? That's something we kind of talked about. I think we kind of got the road energy kind of dialed in, as we always say. But I think that's something we need to bring at home. Seems like we come in home, we've been a little flat. So game like tonight, I think it's going to be a fun night. Wade's celebration and should be a fun night. So we're excited and we got to bring that energy.
You personally, do you feel like this is the best stretch of hockey you've had this season? Maybe the last, maybe just coming back from that concussion against Philly?
Yeah, for sure. I think best so far this season, yes. Obviously, but I mean the team as well. I think we've played some good hockey, and obviously, like I always say, when you guys ask me, is the best I can play, the better for the team, and that's all that matters to me. Obviously, we want to get as many points as we can, whether it's at home or on the road, and I think we did that last road trip. Obviously, it's a tough one, always in overtime, but to play the way we played it was still a solid game, and 3 points out of 4 is big for us.
I'll say I drew the short straw on this one. I'll ask you about.
Yeah.
I know
you know what's coming. Yeah.
Hamonic on the bench. What happened there?
Not my proudest moment, that's for sure. But I mean, there's no need to explain myself. It's just that can't happen, and obviously, thankfully enough, he's all good, and he didn't get hurt or anything. So, but obviously, it's definitely something that can happen. I can't do.
Did you get him like a bottle of wine or something?
Yeah, I got him a few things. He can say what if he can himself tell it if he wants to. But no, obviously he didn't want me to get him anything. But I mean, it's just out of principles, I just had to do it.
You talked about it's Wade Redden night. What's just he meant to this organization? What are some of your good memories with him so far?
I mean, obviously, when he played, I was a bit younger, and I remember him as a player, and just this year to have him around, and we got to meet him and just talk a little bit with him. It's special, and I think the entire city of Ottawa and the entire organization it's really big for everyone. And it's a night that I think it's going to bring back a lot of memories to a lot of fans and a lot of people, and obviously there's going to be some guys that played with him that are going to be around for the game. So. Those guys should have a fun night, and so should we, and obviously we want to get a win from him.
You said you remembered him when you were younger. What are those memories?
I mean, there's not gonna lie, growing up, a lot of on the TV was just about the Canadians, but obviously I've heard the name and him playing, and obviously he was a special player. I don't. It's not like I watched him 1,000 times either, but you know what? He had a hell of a career, and just for him to get that recognition and be in the Ring of Honors, I think it's something special for him, and it's obviously it's great for the entire organization and the city of Ottawa. Thanks, guys. Je te dirais pas d'une façon différente, non. Je pense juste qu'on a trouvé la façon de juste, on arrive sur la route, on se présente, on n'a personne impressionné, il n'y a rien impressionné, puis c'est juste de jouer la façon qu'on est capable de jouer, puis d'amener beaucoup d'énergie, patiner, avoir un bon forecheck, puis c'est quelque chose qu'on, comme j'ai dit tantôt, je pense que c'est un peu plus quelque chose qu'on a peut-être fait de mieux en mieux dans les derniers matchs sur la route depuis le début de la saison en général. C'est quelque chose qu'il faut vraiment amener ici à la maison maintenant.
C'est quoi le problème pour l'incapacité d'avoir des succès? Vous avez quand même une fiche ordinaire à domicile. Y a-t-il quelque chose qu'on a noté différent également pour la pression?
C'est pas, je te dirais pas nécessairement la pression. C'est on a parlé justement un matin, c'est le fait de revenir sur la route, tu reviens à la maison, je pense tu reviens à la maison, c'est confortable dans un sens, tandis que sur la route, on a rien d'autre à faire dans un sens, puis c'est d'arriver à la maison, je pense pas que, je te dirais pas que c'est quelque chose qu'on veut vraiment améliorer, c'est quelque chose qu'on veut sortir, se présenter, puis jouer le plus fort qu'on peut. Jouer la même game qu'on joue sur la route, je pense qu'au bout de la ligne, on a du succès à faire ça, fait que pourquoi pas l'amener ici.
Comment tu évalues ton jeu depuis ton retour? Ça semble bien aller pour toi personnellement.
Oui, ça va bien personnellement, mais comme j'ai dit ça je pense aussi l'équipe en général, tout le monde a élevé leur jeu d'un cran, comme on dit, puis c'est... je pense que c'est juste, oui, la blessure, c'est toujours plate à l'extérieur, mais je pense que des fois, ça te donne un moment de réanalyser ta game un peu, d'être à l'extérieur un peu, de regarder les matchs d'en haut, de regarder les matchs à la télévision. Fait que, non, c'est vraiment quelque chose, j'ai pris le temps de faire certain que je suis en santé avant de revenir, mais je pense au même moment de faire certain que quand je reviens, j'allais être prêt et j'allais jouer au meilleur hockey.
Challenge affronté Anaheim, encore une fois, c'est un truc que vous avez affronté dernièrement, vous avez eu du succès. Qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire pour répéter ça dans le match?
Je pense que c'est comme on vient de se parler. Je pense que le plus important pour nous, ça va être de sortir puis d'amener l'énergie qu'on amène toujours puis de se présenter puis d'utiliser notre vitesse, utiliser notre forecheck. C'est comme ça qu'on a du succès. C'est aussi simple que ça. Du moment qu'on laisse aucun temps, aucun espace à l'autre équipe. Puis nous, en tant que défenseurs, on leur donne pas la ligne bleue, la ligne bleue offensive, défensive pour nous. Je pense que c'est ça le plus important. C'est de même qu'on a du succès, c'est de même qu'on va des matchs puis c'est ça qu'il faut apporter à soi.
Le défenseur que toi?
C'est comme je disais tantôt, c'est sûr que oui, je l'ai vu, puis j'en ai entendu parler en grandissant, puis je sais c'est qui, vraiment, je sais c'est qui Wade Redden, je sais qu'il a une carrière extraordinaire, mais de là à dire que je connais par cœur tous ses matchs, puis tout ce qu'il a accompli, je te mentirais pas, je te dirais pas que oui, mais dans un sens que, comme j'ai dit tantôt, de l'avoir ici depuis le début de l'année, de l'avoir autour de l'équipe, puis d'avoir eu la chance de rencontrer puis de parler un peu avec lui, c'est spécial. Puis d'avoir une soirée comme ça, pour l'organisation, je pense que c'est quelque chose d'énorme. Puis je pense pour lui aussi, lui-même, je pense que c'est une place ici à Ottawa qui adorait jouer, qui aimait beaucoup être. Puis de le voir, comme j'ai dit, de revenir dans l'organisation quelques années plus tard, puis de le voir encore s'inclure, puis vouloir aider notre groupe de joueurs qu'on a ici, je pense que c'est spécial pour nous en tant que joueurs.
Je demandais à Léger, au point de vue historique, dans les 4-5 dernières années, il y a eu Alfie au temps de la renommée, il y a eu Phillips qui a enlevé le gilet, il y a Neil qui s'en vient. Est-ce qu'on commence à bâtir plus une histoire pour les Suns qui sont quand même dans une jeune organisation? Puis comment vous pouvez regarder ça pour vous inspirer un peu?
Bien, c'est sûr, ça t'inspire. Je pense au bout de la ligne, on s'est fait repêcher ici. Quand tu viens jouer pour les Sénateurs d'Ottawa, tu veux être ici pour le restant de ta carrière. Tu veux passer, quand tu rencontres des gars comme tu viens de nommer Alfie, tu rencontres Chris Neal, tu rencontres Chris Phillips, Wade Redden maintenant. C'est spécial de voir ça, qu'ils se font reconnaître de cette façon-là, que ce soit le gilet, le numéro retiré ou que ce soit le Ring of Honor maintenant. C'est des accomplissements spéciaux. Tout le crédit va à ces gars-là. Je pense qu'ils ont eu des carrières extraordinaires. Ils ont fait des choses extraordinaires pour l'organisation aussi. Puis c'est le fun pour nous, maintenant, moi, à 25 ans, de voir ça. Puis peut-être espérer. C'est même pas quelque chose que tu penses personnellement. C'est pas quelque chose que tu dis que tu espères que ça va arriver. Mais de le voir arriver devant toi, tu vois à quel point c'est spécial.